BORTLE here, back from the remote Duel PPG regional event. My goodness, from over the weekend, we have here top 8 contestant Ricky playing Plunder Patrols. Man, yo, Ricky, please tell the universe, tell BORTLE Nation why'd you choose this deck.
What's up, guys? So I'm Ricky. I ended up playing Plunder Patrol. It's a going second deck that I think has some potential against some of the top decks. I think going second cards are really good. Dark Ruler, Kaijus are pretty strong against Drytrons, so I kind of wanted to test it out, see how it played.
It's no secret that dragons are pretty dominant in this format. So, did you get to face a lot of dragons? Did you get to break some boards?
Yeah, I actually did. I played two Dragon players. I beat both of them. The deck felt really solid against that matchup. It felt like the way that Plunder Patrols interact with dragons after turn one is really good, and them having both light and dark attributes makes the matchup pretty easy if you like don't break. So
Very nice. You did top 8, so what deck beat you, man?
I lost to Eldritch Dragoon. Trap decks are kind of a nightmare for me. So
Okay, word. Well, before we jump into the actual deck profile, would you like to do some shoutouts?
yeah, just a couple shout outs. Shout out to Ryan Fletcher. Shout out to Sebastian Todd for always telling me that I'm awful. And then shout out to Team Bookies. And that's about it.
There you have it. Without further ado, man, please take it away with your deck profile.
Cool. So I'm gonna start with the Plunder Patrol engine, and then we'll get to the non-engine cards. So I played three Whitebeard, three Redbeard, three Golden Hair, three of the new Ravenwing Black Eyes, whatever you want to call it, and two of the Bluebeard. So to get with the ratios specifically, the best ones to draw are like Whitebeard and Ravenwing. Like these cards are significantly better than all of the other Plunder Patrol monsters. Redbeard is it's okay if you brick. Like if you only draw one Plunder Patrol, you'd rather have Redbeard than a lot of the other ones. Golden Hair is kind of your best extender, but these two cards individually are just so powerful. Whitebeard allows you to like special summon from the deck as well as be, like play as a starter by itself. And then the fact that Blackwing kind of gets you more resources after turn one is really insane. Having a body and a card on one is just a free plus one for the deck. It's super powerful. And then I played two copies of Bluebeard. I just wanted the name and the fact that it can make Bahamut Shark turn one, which does come up if they make you go first after game one. If you draw like any combination of three Plunder Patrols and one of them being Bluebeard, you can make Bahamut Shark plus Blackbeard, and that's usually enough to stop a lot of the decks. So I wouldn't change this lineup. I thought this was pretty good. The only thing like you could consider playing is like you can consider cutting one more Bluebeard and just playing one, but I think two is fine. And then I played three of the field spell. No terraforming because everyone's main decking Droll. I didn't want to lose that card. Your deck's already bad enough to Droll. I played two Emblem. So I played two Emblem. I didn't play any Fusion. Mostly I played Emblem because it's like a really good extender going second. You don't need any other additional cards. You just need one Plunder Patrol plus Emblem. Whereas the Fusion spell felt really cloggy to me, especially in a going second variant. I didn't want to draw more than like two Plunder Patrol cards. I wanted to draw a lot of my going second cards. So I wouldn't change this ratio either. This seemed pretty fine. And then I played two Booty. This card is really insane, but you're playing a going second deck. You don't really want to see like trap cards in your opening hand, right? So that's why I only played two. I didn't want to banish it off Desires, which I did play three of. So yeah. And then for the non-engine cards, I played a lot of going second cards. So I played Pankratops just because it's really insane when you see it. Three Ash Blossom, and I played three Kaijus. So the reason for this lineup of Kaijus is that honestly, going into the event, I'm still a little bit new to the archetype, so I wasn't sure whether Gamasiel or Radiant would be better. I felt that Radiant is good because of the typing against a deck like Tri Brigade, where you don't normally get access to dark monsters until they get up to Omen. But Gamasiel is way easier to hit over. You can hit over it with Brand by itself, or you can hit over it with List with one equipment. There's a lot of better combinations to out Gamasiel, and a lot of my problem with this deck is kind of outing high attack monsters. If you don't draw the field spell, then it can become a little bit problematic. So, and then three Ash because it's just generic, and then Pankratops is, like I said, really good if you draw it. More going second cards. Three Gamma Driver, three Nib, three Droll. This is just kind of like going second cards of the deck. Gamma was really good. I wouldn't cut it. Nibiru performed okay for me. I played against one Tri Brigade Zodiac, and it's kind of in here for Dragon Link and Tri Brigade Zoo. I didn't get to see it against Dragon Link, unfortunately, but I did see it against the Zoo player. And if they start with the Rat Pierre combo instead of just starting with normal summon Kit or normal summon Fergie, it ends up being pretty powerful. So I liked it. I think it just depends on what meta you're playing into. You could easily cut this for some back row hate, but I would play it going towards the future. And then I need to play Droll because Drytron is very scary, and so is Dragon Link. For my last going second cards, I played 3 Desires and 3 Dark Ruler no more. I guess Desire is just an extender, so that's whatever. And then 3 Dark Ruler, I wanted to be able to break the boards. So
Sweet. Overall, what's your main deck count?
43 cards.
Oh, okay, nice. And your ratios, you pretty much explained everything. Desires wouldn't really hinder much at all, right?
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's like the main reason I play two cards that I would rather play one of. Like I'd rather play one Booty and one Bluebeard, but they do come up where you need to search them with the field spell, and I'd rather just have two. If I draw it, I draw it. I'm not super concerned with it. So, and then extra deck is fine.
Yeah.
Cool. So I played one Almirage, Plunder Patrol Almirage. It facilitates a lot of your one card combos. Played 3 Blackbeard. This is by far the best one. Uh, I think this card is super underrated. So the crazy thing about this card is that it lets you draw a card on your turn, and then you just make lists and you tag it out back into the main monster zone, and you just do it again on their turn. Like this card is, it just gets you so much advantage. This card by itself makes the Plunder Patrol archetype. This guy is really, really insane. I never play less copies than 3, and I don't know. He's almost like a heat code talker. That OCG card, he reminds me so much of it because you just draw cards on both your turn and your opponent's turn, and he also facilitates your plays. So he's really powerful. I like him a lot. And then I played one Unicorn, one Access Code. If I'm being honest, I didn't go into any of the non-Plunder Patrol cards besides Salmon Great Almirage, but in theory and testing it comes up, so I would continue playing them. And then for the XYZs, I played 2 Moerk, one Bahamut Shark, and one Totally Awesome. So 2 Moerk was good for me. I wouldn't play a third, but I think you need at least 2. And the Bahamut Shark Totally Awesome combo does come up a lot in testing when they make you go first, so I would keep playing this. And even like on turn 4, randomly, if you want to play through like a Nibiru or something that you think they've been holding, if you haven't played into it all game, then you can play around it using this. So I like it. It's good. And then for the synchros, I played 2 Bran, and this one's like a little weird, but I played a Savage Dragon. So I saw a lot of people were playing Dragite when I was looking at deck profiles, and it just didn't make sense why you wouldn't play Savage instead of Dragite. It felt like this is just a better copy of it. None of your like monsters water lock you; they all Plunder Patrol lock you. So if you are ever in a scenario where you can make the Adamancipator Dragite, then you can just make Borload Savage Dragon, and this card's just better than Adamancipator Dragite. So that's why I played him. I don't know. I think the logic is strong. I'm not sure why people play Dragite, but and then 2 Bran, 2 was good. Wouldn't play a third. And then 2 Lists. I never missed the third. Some people play 3, but I think if you manage your resources, especially with the new Ravenwing card, I think you can just loop him. I'm not super worried about needing a third ever. You just want to kill your opponent. So if you're ever in the point where you need 3, like the game probably isn't going super great. So
Nice, and that's the extra deck.
yep. And then for the side deck, I played 3 Lancia, 3 Phantasme, and 3 Bell for additional hand traps. So Lancia performed really well against Tri Brigade. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Phantasme. So Phantasme is really awkward right now, where it's really good against Dragon Link. It's playable against Tri Brigade, but it actually just does nothing against Drytron. They just always combo with like Herald before they make a Link Rainbow. So I never signed this card in against them, and it felt really awkward in my main deck. That's why I moved it to my side deck, but I wasn't super happy with it. I could see cutting this for some amount of like going second cards. Maybe fitting a droplets in here somewhere, which I thought about after the event, but this could be like a droplet slot, so I'd probably change that out. And then I would 100% change out 3 Bell for Skullmeister. I wanted this for the Tri Brigade matchup, but I'd rather just have Skullmeister. Prank Kids is kind of scary for this deck because you don't have access to dark or light attributes ever. And I would really like an extra card against Prank Kids where Bell doesn't do anything against that deck. So it stops the fusions, but it's not good enough. I would 100% play a Skullmeister over the Bell. And then
For those listeners that aren't really familiar with Plunder Patrols, Booty changes attributes, right?
yeah, so to give like a brief explanation of how the mechanic works, all of your captains, so your Redbeard and your Whitebeard, can tag out as well as your Blackbeard for a monster in the extra deck that has the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls or is in your graveyard. So, for example, you have Liss, you have Bran, and you have Moerk. So the big three attributes that you want are light, dark, and fire. So obviously a deck like Dragon Link is going to have lights and darks, so you're going to have access to two of your ships. A deck like Salamon Great is going to have basically only fires. You're only going to have access to one of your ships. So you really want to prioritize and build your deck to be better against decks that only have one or two attributes. A deck like Prank Kids never accesses lights or darks unless they're killing you with access code. So you only have access to Bran. That's why I want to play more hand traps for a deck like that, for example. The equip spell Plunder Patrol Booty can change the attributes, or the trap card. Sorry, the trap card Plunder Patrol Booty can change the attributes, but since we're going second, you don't always have access to booty. So I still want to like kind of tune my deck more to be the decks that are inherently good against my deck with their attribute typings. And then just to finish out the side deck, I played 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Twin Twisters, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. I would change this ratio. I play 2 Cosmic, 3 Twin. That's the only change I'd make here. Just back row cards are good.
Sweet, beautiful explanation, man.
Yeah, overall, I think the deck performed well. I'm really happy with it. I would make a few small changes, but I think it's something interesting if you want to pick up. I want to label it. This is not like a tier 0 deck, okay? But I do think it can compete if you're good enough with it. You need to practice. I made some misplays that ended up possibly costing me like a higher topping, and that's okay. I'm still a little bit new to the deck, so I did love it. And shout out to PPG for hosting a great event. Shout out to BORTLE. He's the best. So yeah. Oh God, yes.
And thanks again for your tier 0 deck profile featuring Plunder Patrols, man. And huge shout out to PPG for releasing the full price support for this event. So if you want some product, guys, consider joining PPG events, man. Check out everything in the description down below. And if you're not a part of BORTLE Nation, suffer BORTLE. It's that easy and free. Oh God, yes. BORTLE out.